All right. Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here on our Wednesday mastermind. And today is April 25th, so we have 5 days left in the month. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Naiva Flory, and I am a Blue Diamond with Purium. I've been in this company for 3.5 years, and it's my pleasure and honor to be here with you all this morning and being able to lead this call. And I was just sharing a little bit before some of you hopped on. I was sharing about a movie that I watched yesterday, and it was called Gold. It was about prospecting, and it was about this man that really, like, his whole life, his family came to Nebraska and settled down and started prospecting right there. And they had hit some, some treasures there, but not a lot. His dad followed in his grandpa's footsteps and did the same. So then when this man was going to go, follow in his dad and grandfather's footsteps, he was like, this is a generational thing. I have to, like, hit it big. And so he literally had a dream and woke up one morning and was like, I'm going to go to Indonesia and dig for gold. Hey, we got a baby on the line, if you'll make sure and mute out. And so he literally got people he actually had to go and prospect people to get them to invest money into his business so that he could afford to go to Indonesia, where his dream was set, which is where he had found the gold in his dream. So he got people to actually invest in his dream. He got people to invest in his vision that he was going to go down there and find this massive pot of gold. So he did that. He raised a ton of money, and then he went to Indonesia and he started prospecting for his gold. So he had to get permits. He had to hire a bunch of Indonesian people to, help dig up the core samples. They dug up core samples. In the movie, this guy got malaria for weeks and, like, was sick and almost died while he was trying to find this gold. And eventually, he thought he found gold. His partner told him that they found gold. And so they went to Wall Street and they told everybody, and they sold it big, right? Well, his partner had pretty much duped him and had been sprinkling gold into their core samples. So really there wasn't any gold there. But what the main thing was that these people were actually able to, number one, get people to give them money for something they didn't even have yet. So that's what we do sometimes when we pre-sell, like with the CBD before it even came out. We're like pre-selling it. We're making sure that people know about it before it's even out yet. And then it also, showed that people, like, if you're mining for gems and minerals, you're out there for months, maybe even years before you even find what it is that you're looking for. In the movie, they were out there for like 3 years in Indonesia in the torrential downpours, taking core samples and digging it up to find gold. So I just found that was a really interesting story to kind of bring to the table, because we're all out there prospecting every day. We're out there trying to find new people that are interested in our product and our business opportunity. And I wanted to bring to the table how simple we have it, and how sometimes, it's so easy to give up early, or to maybe like feel like, oh my gosh, this just isn't working, because, it's not easy to go out there every day. This has to be, you have to be totally excited to wake up in the morning and go out there and share what you have with people. So, what this man did, he sat there for years pulling out pieces of dirt out of the ground and sending them into town to just get them tested to even see if he had struck it rich yet. And then after years, he got paid off from all of his hard work. But it was the part of the story that touched me the most was that he invested all of the money that he had gotten from all of his investors, and he was on his deathbed with malaria, and he gave his partner his last credit card, and he said, there's $2,000 on here. It's every last penny that I have. Go invest it, and we're going to strike gold. And that's what his partner did, and that's when they struck gold, was when he invested every last penny that he had, everything he had. And that was when he finally, hit that threshold and hit that gold. So the reason I wanted to bring that to the table is sometimes when we're the most overwhelmed and the most like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. That's like right before we're about to talk to the person that's the most excited to join our business or to, you know, do a 40-day transformation because they need it for their health. You know, we just never know when we're going to come across that person. So I just thought it was an interesting story. There's many other stories out there that are really inspirational like that. I feel like in any business, I also recently watched the, is it called The Founder about McDonald's. And, you know, and that was another really inspiring story. Not that I like the franchise, but the story behind it is really interesting because they never gave up on a dream that they had. They had an idea that there was going to be like this chain restaurant that made all of their burgers exactly the same, and they had that duplication process figured out. And that's what they set out to do. They set out to duplicate that process that they had created and make sure that everybody did it exactly the same so that they could have it the same across the board. That you get, you know, not that I want to be talking Big Macs on our call, but if you get one, you know, in Hawaii or one in San Francisco, that you'll essentially be getting the same thing. So, you know, that's really what we're trying to create here, is we're trying to create that system of duplication. And a lot of us have our why. We know why it is that we're doing this. We know that we want to manifest certain things into our life. And now it's, you know, we're 5 days to the end of the month. Next month is our official, like, make it to diamond if you're going to the diamond trip in June, because May is the deadline to go to the diamond trip in June. So this month is the month to push as hard as you can to get to director and executive, to set yourself up so that next month you can have that exponential growth and get to diamond. Let me tell you, in the month that I reached diamond, it was February. We had 28 days. And in the last week of the month was the very first time that I got to go out to the Native Springs Oasis out at Dave Sandoval's land, which was extremely exciting that my husband got invited out there to set up the teepees for Dave Sandoval for an event that he was having. And so I went out there not realizing that I would have no phone service and limited Wi-Fi. And so the whole last week of the month, and when I went out there, you guys, I was at about executive status. I had about executive points, and I had 1 week left in the month. And so I went out to the Native Springs Oasis. The only thing I had was Messenger and FaceTime because I had Wi-Fi, no phone service. And I don't know how I did, but I made it happen. I continued to build those relationships. I continued to follow up with people. I continued to create those connect calls, even if it wasn't on my phone call, it was on, you know, through Messenger or through FaceTime. But I just had that unstoppable belief that, like, I am going to reach this goal and I am going to go on this diamond trip. So you have to have that conviction, and that conviction shows when you talk to people. Because when you talk to people, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I'm going on this diamond trip, it's going to be so fun, I'd love for you to come with me, you know, it's going to be an amazing community of people, I know that you're going to, you know, just that vibe, that energy, that enthusiasm in your voice is what's really going to attract people to lean in more and be like, wow, this is really, you're really excited about this. Like, this sounds really fun. So, you know, finding that how are you going to reach your goal this month? Something that I really love that our team put together was that tool to get into action. So, what I kind of wanted to bring to the table today was, you know, how many of you guys got to look at that Get Into Action app? I'm just curious. So if you guys will drop me a 1 if you've gotten to look at that app, I'd love to see how many of you have gotten to check out the Get Into Action. And, you know, and if you've gotten to take any notes on that, awesome. Yay. I see some of you guys have done that. That's amazing. And that is an incredible tool. That tool is going to save us so much time and energy moving forward. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I really suggest that you go through it and check it out for yourself. And I know that they did tell us before they went to Unconvention that it isn't finished yet. I noticed that there's a couple things that are repetitive in there, or, you know, there's still some edits to be made. There's a couple typos, things like that. So if you see anything, just jot it down. We'll be looking back at that as Raven and Rob come back to the island, and everybody else on our team, all the leaders. But that's a really great app to just get you in that action, get into action kind of motion. So, so I'd love to hear it. For those of you who did look at the app, maybe you can share a couple things that, you know, most resonated with you, maybe what you found was most useful about it. If you'll just share a couple things that you got out of that app to share with the rest of our community, you know, some of the things that you got, I think that would be really great and inspirational, and just kind of let people know, you know, if you took some notes that you want to share about it, or if you wrote out your own, I know I had a couple exercises to like write out your mission statement or kind of a guide to do that. I'd love to hear from those of you who have looked at it, if any of you want to hop on and just share a little bit about that.
Which one was that, Maeva? I'm not connecting what that is. Get into Action app?
Yeah, so we have an app, the Fast Start Training app, which is the step 4 of our 4-step process. And then Rob and Raven actually gave us a step 5 last week before they left.
Okay, yeah.
That one,
yeah. Okay.
An app, but it's more like a learning module.
Okay, yeah, where it has like all the written part where you can download and print up, and then the videos that go with it. Yeah, I got to skim through and read kind of over the module part, and got to watch maybe at least 2 of the videos, you know, talking about mindset and you know, entrepreneurial mindset, and yeah, I want to look at them more. So I was just making sure that that was the one that that I thought that it was. Cool.
Yeah.
I really like, I always like what Sarah Rylander shares, and I always like learning from her, and little nuggets that she spoke to about, you know, really managing this business is also managing our life, you know, and so yeah, I need to dig into it some more.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Summer. So that's a really amazing tool. I've been really loving it. I'd love to hear from anybody if you guys have looked at that. What some of the things were that kind of spoke to you, if you got anything useful out of it. I thought some of us had looked at the app. Does anybody want to share about that? I'm looking for my notes that I took on the app and some of the stuff that I wrote down about it. So a big part of this business is, you know, as we are our own bosses and we are creating our own plan of action and kind of daily mode of operation, it is really important that when we send out a tool, and, you know, if we ask you to look at it, if you can look at it in a timely manner, that's really helpful to everybody in the team, because then when we want to share about certain things, then we can all come together and share about it. So I just encourage everybody, if you haven't looked at that yet, please, please, please take the time sometime before the end of this month to look at that Fast Start module that they made us. I think it's called Get Into Action, because it will really help you to get into action and set those daily mode of operation as you move into the rest of this month and the beginning of next month. So some of the things in there that we encourage to do is, you know, placing your own order on the first of the month, being able to create your business plan, and then helping your team members to do the same. So as soon as you have a team member that places their order, help them to take those first action steps, send them those training modules, and then help them to get into action with those training modules and get them on a connect call with your upline, so that way you can really help support them to get into action as quickly as possible. And with that being said, that is the quickest way for you to grow in this business as well, because this is a business of duplication and leveraging. And the easiest way to leverage your time is to have more than just you doing all the work. Leveraging means that you are able to share it with other people who are also sharing it. And then you can help leverage your time by, doing coaching calls with them or leading some of these masterminds in the future, to leverage your time to really train more than just your one person at a time, to be able to share your knowledge and your guidance with, your whole team. So I encourage you all, if you haven't checked that out, to go check that out when you have a time. There is quite a bit of information in there. There's a few videos. There's some things to jot. Sorry, I was getting a call. So there's some great things to take notes on in that app as well. So it's really helpful, a really helpful tool to just help you guys get into action. And one of the things that I think was really helpful that we did talk about over the last few days was getting into action first thing in the morning. For myself, that's really helpful, and I've heard that it's really helpful for others as well, where, first thing in the morning, whether if you're on a later time zone than Hawaii, and Hawaii, usually my routine is taking my kids to school, getting on mastermind, and then I have my few hours of time block time where I really focus on the things that I need to focus on, whether it's, following up with some people and then reaching out to some new people that are on my list that I wanted to have conversations with, or maybe setting up appointments with some people to have conversations later on today or tomorrow. So my morning time is really set towards, either making those phone calls or creating the plan to have those phone calls later on if people aren't available. So that's kind of my own daily mode of operation. And I know for those of you that are in later time zones, it might be the opposite. You might get up and have your cup of tea or your breakfast and then get into action and then get on mastermind, a little bit later in the mid-morning or later on in the day. So I'd love to hear from some of you what your, what is your daily mode of operation? And most of all, what I want to know is it working for you or is it not working for you, so that we can try to help you kind of find what is going to work. This call really is about helping everyone to fine tune our businesses so that it can really work for us. And as we get closer to the end of the month, something that I want to share is that, there are people in this company and our teams that have reached diamond, by the 25th of the month and ranked to green diamond by the 30th. So a whole nother, it's 15,000 points for diamond and it's 30,000 points for green diamond. So that's 15,000 points in 5 days. How did they do that? They did that through duplication and leveraging. So that's why I want to encourage you guys to use the tools, because if you have somebody that comes in brand new and is excited, and you share the tools with them and they're ready to go and they can start sharing right away, then they can turn around and hit consultant the next day and director in 2 days and executive in the next 5 days. I've seen it happen. I had somebody come into my team at the end of the month last year. It was 3 days to the end of the month, and she almost hit executive in 3 days. So anything is possible. We still have plenty of time left, and there's still plenty of people out there that need what we have, whether it's for the financial opportunity or whether it's for the health and wellness that we offer here in our community. So I'd love to hear from a few of you. What is your kind of daily mode of operation, and mostly is it working or not working for you so we can fine tune?
Hello, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you.
Yay. This is Izola, and I wanted to share one of the practices that's been very helpful for me in my morning routine. Because I'm a solo mama, and I have multiple projects on my plate, and I find that how I start from my waking time has been like the most crucial to like really getting the momentum flowing for my day. And I dedicate like the first hour of my morning. I split it up into 3 20-minute segments. And for the first 20 minutes, I find like some sort of like physical activity I can do that can like really make me sweat. And then I do like 20 minutes of like gratitude statements, like I am statements, gratitude, affirmations. And then I do 20 minutes of some sort of like self-care, self-development, whether that's like playing like a motivational podcast or a speaker to really like tap in and like give myself more momentum in my direction in the day. And I find I'm able to do all of that before my son like wakes up and like start a process, and it gives me like feeling grounded in my direction for the day. And I find it's been like for my physical and spiritual well-being, it's been very grounding for me to do that work. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'd love to hear, whoever wants to share next, if that's something that resonates with you, because I know many of us have a similar daily mode of operation. And so this is just a way to kind of inspire each other as to different ways that we kind of start our morning, or different ways that we personally take action in our business so that we can inspire each other. So I'd love to hear from a few more of you what it is that you're doing, how you're getting into action, how that's working for you.
Hi. So I actually have a little bit of a harder time in the morning, especially now. Right now, my kids are away. And so I'm really appreciating this call, because I've been doing the time blocking, and then the morning I'm always behind with my time blocking. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this, this, this. And then all of a sudden it's mastermind. And I'm like, oh, shoot, like right now I haven't even showered yet. And I was so planning on showering before the mastermind. And so I can't really give like examples or advice for this, but I just wanted to say I'm so here listening and really thankful for this. Yeah. And Izula, that was awesome. I like the 20 minutes. I was doing more like hours, half an hours. And what's really important to me is a little bit of yoga, even if it's 5 minutes, and a little bit of meditation. They're like super, important to me in the morning. But I am going to continue to work on this. It's a big goal for me. And I appreciate that you're putting attention towards the morning, the first thing. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, because I'm sure you're not the only one. There's many of us that are so busy, and, time does get away from us. I've had that happen to me too. On times I'm busy with the kids, or maybe they're homesick or something, and time gets away from me. And the thing that I like about starting in the morning is it gives you the whole rest of the day. So if you feel like you're falling behind, then you still have the whole rest of the day ahead of you to be like, okay, so I'm going to set another hour. I kind of like fumbled that first hour I was going to work. I'm going to set another hour from noon to 1 that I'm going to sit down and focus on these income producing activities, because I didn't do them between 9 and 10 when I planned on it. So, starting in the morning for me, that gives me that availability that, like, if it doesn't work out, if Kainoa just really needs my attention in the morning or something, I can always, kind of reschedule, as long as I don't have like connect calls or anything planned right then, which I don't usually plan them first thing in the morning. But if I don't have anything like scheduled with somebody else, then usually I can actually push it back to where, like, well, I'm going to make those phone calls a little bit later because I need to focus on this right now. So I love that you shared, what's happening for you, because we all have different things that we're going through, different blockages, different experiences. I'd love to hear from more of you if you want to share kind of what's working for you, what your daily mode of operation is.
Morning, everybody. So one thing that I've been doing that's been really helpful is Susan here, for those of you that don't know me. So the night before, I like to write down like what I need to do the next day. And I find that really helps me kind of navigate the next morning. So, I'm a stay-at-home mom too. And, if I don't actually map my day out, I find that I'll get distracted, or, the wheels start spinning, and then before I know it, it's 2:00 and I haven't done anything. So I find that if I make a contact list, or if I map out like the 5 most important things that I need to do the next day, and do that like first thing, I notice that I get a lot more done, and I end up not really stressing, once the day starts progressing. I'm like, okay, I feel steady. I've done this, this, and this. I'm good. So that's helped me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Susan. That is a really great tip, and something that we've always suggested a lot, is planning your day ahead the night before. And it's easy to do, and it's easy not to do. So it's one of those things that you just have to get in the habit of doing, is, before you go to bed, look at your whiteboard or your notebook or whatever it is you're using, look at your planner, and anybody that you need to follow up with tomorrow, or people that you maybe didn't get to call today that you wanted to call today, add them to your list tomorrow. So that way when you wake up and when you're ready to sit down and do your time blocked work, it's sitting there, and you know exactly who you need to reach out to, exactly what you need to do. And because I am with Susan on that one, as a busy mom, if I don't write it down and plan my day ahead, and I wake up the next morning and I come back from dropping off the kids at school, and I'm looking at all my notes, and I have to it takes me time just to figure out what I'm doing that day. So if I do it the night before, then when I sit down, I feel refreshed and I'm ready to just start making those phone calls and reaching out to people. So I really love that tip. Anybody else want to share their daily mode of operation? What's working for you? We'll take one more share, and then I do have a little exercise that I want to do with you all to help us all get into some action today. So just out of curiosity, I'd love to know, for those of you on the mainland time zones, you probably have had more time than us in Hawaii to do this, but I'm curious, how many of you guys have already reached out to a couple people this morning? Maybe 1, 2, 3. Maybe just drop it in the comments if you've reached out to anybody today yet, just out of curiosity. And yay, awesome. I love it. So an exercise that I want to do today that we did while we still have a whole half hour left is we did this with Todd Falcone when he was here on Kauai. He stopped mid-presentation and he said, okay, I can give everybody 10 minutes. I want you to scroll through your phone, and some of you might be on your phones, but I think you can still go to your contacts and scroll through your phone. Go through your phone and text 10 people that you haven't talked to in at least 3 months. And let me tell you, I have a lot of people on my phone, and I scroll through my phone a lot to reach out to new people and to follow up with people. And there was a lot of people in there that I hadn't reached out to in over 3 months. So I'd love to do a little exercise with you all. And this exercise is just to reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in over 3 months, and you're just going to say hi, how's it going? We haven't chatted a long time. I've been thinking about you. Maybe touch up on your last experience, with them, last time you saw them. Hey, we haven't seen each other since that one thing. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. Just something. You're not going to shout them out purium. You're not going to send them something from the app yet. We're going to pace with them. We're going to, share with them first. We're going to check in with them first and rekindle that relationship because we haven't talked to them in about 3 months or more. So, you guys are welcome to turn off your cameras. And then just go to your phone book on your phone and just scroll through the A's and find that first person that you haven't reached out to in a while and just say hello. So I'm going to challenge you guys to text 10 people. So whoever texts 10 people, or when you've texted 10 people and just given them a little shout out, and I'm going to be doing it along with you guys, then just drop a 10 in the comments on the Zoom. So that way I can see, as people are, actually doing that exercise, I can see who's finishing up with that. So and give us all a few minutes to do that. It's 8:34 now, so we'll give us about maybe 5 minutes. And if you guys get a reply back from somebody that says hello, you're welcome to come off mute and share how that feels when somebody reaches back out to you. And then continue with that conversation with them. Just let them know, like, hey, I'm really excited to talk to you. I'm on the other line right now, but can I catch up with you in half an hour, or in an hour, or whenever your time allows in your calendar?
Texted 4 people in that time that you said to text, and I got one text back from a woman named Tanis that I've been for, I don't know, maybe 2 years now, about Purium. And I just said, hey, I've been thinking about you. What are you up to this spring? And she wrote back saying, oh, I've been doing good. She said, oh, I wanted to talk to you about Purium. So I'm super excited. It's so cool because I didn't even think about reaching out to her today, and now I have someone to follow up with. So
Awesome,
I'm so
Willow.
excited, and I think this tool is super powerful, just to go through your list in your phone and just randomly reach out.
Yeah. Well, I love that you already got a reply, somebody that you had been prospecting in the past, and so now she's ready. So you guys all see how that happened. All she did was text somebody that she hadn't texted in a while and maybe hadn't even thought of in a little bit, and she got a reply back, and this person does remember her sharing Purium and is now, leaning in and ready. So this is what happens when, we stay consistent in our business and we stay consistent in following up with people, because, people do fall through the cracks. Sometimes we forget who's in our phone. We have so many phone numbers in our phone. So that's so exciting, Willow. I love that. I'd love to hear, Ray, you might be responding to the people that you were chatting with, but you got 2 responses back from the people that you texted, and you said you texted 10 people. So that's super awesome, exciting. I'd love to hear.
I was gonna jump on real quick. I'm actually texting right now, but what I said was, they're like, oh, how are you? And I'm like, I'm awesome. I just was at Unconvention, with my company. And so it was cool. I'm in LA right now because I just was at Unconvention. So anybody that hits me back, I'm going to be able to go into that story, which is awesome because it was so inspiring. So, but people are texting me right now, so I'll be back.
Awesome. We'll let you reply to them. So I love that we just created a little text frenzy. And the reason I wanted to do that this morning on this call is because I wanted to show you guys that if you do this every morning when you are ready to sit down at your desk or wherever it is that you do your work, if you just take 10 minutes or 20 minutes, however long it takes you to text, set a goal for yourself. If you're going to text 3 new people every day, that's almost 100 people at the end of the month. If you're texting, 5 people a day, then obviously that's like 150 people a month. So, you know, how many people do you want to reach out to per month? Because this is a numbers game, and you have to, especially when you're starting out, you have to reach out to an exponential amount of people to find the ones that are ready to join you. And so that's why when people are first getting started, we tell you, make a network notebook, write down 100 names of people that you would want to share this with, either for health or for business, and then start reaching out to them. So it's not because we want to overwhelm you. It's because we want you to find 5 or 10 new customers or brand partners. And to do that, you're going to have to reach out to 100 people. So I'd love to hear from any of you that have that are either doing the exercise or have done it and want to share with us, you know, what message you sent out and some of the responses that you're getting from your friends. It's really exciting for everybody to kind of hear from each other. We all have different communication skills, different color codes. So it's great to hear like different ways that we reach out to people or respond to people. So I had a friend that I reached out to. It's actually somebody that I met through a mutual friend in Boulder, Colorado, and I haven't texted her since last summer when I visited with her. And so I just texted her and said, you know, hey, how are you doing? I've been thinking about you. And she texted me back that, you know, I'm well, thanks for checking in. How are you and the family? I hope you're all safe from the flood. So, you know, we did just have a big flood out here in Kauai. So it gives people kind of a little bit of like the sympathetic touch of they're like, oh, I hope you're okay. But that's, I like what Ray kind of shared about her excitement with leaving this event. And she's giving us more little juicy nuggets in the chat. You can check it out. But I love that, you know, she has an excitement from just having left that event. So even though we didn't go to Unconvention, we can still share the excitement of like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So many of my friends just went to this company event. I didn't get to go this year, but I plan on going next year. And oh my gosh, they had so much fun. They stayed in teepees. They had, you know, drum circles around the fire. They had a sweat lodge. They, you know, you can just share your own excitement. Awesome, Azula, 2 replies so far. So, you know, you can just share your excitement about what our community is doing. You can also share your excitement for the fact that everybody that came from Kauai and went to Unconvention came back to Kauai with 2 suitcases full of superfoods as donations to the flood victims. That's a story you can share. So that's why we want to share the stories of what's happening for us and, you know, the events. And that's why Tracy had a couple people from the Unconvention share on the call the other day, is because she really wants us to be able to share those stories. It's not just our own story. We can share excitement from everybody else that went, even if we didn't show up there. So I know it's not the same. Of course, if you went there, you'd have more of that excitement because you were there. It was an experience. But if you go look at the pictures and read what our team members have said about the Unconvention and the feeling that they left with, and you try to absorb some of that into your own self, you know, just to be able to share it with others, that excitement and that energy of the things we're doing in our community. I'm really loving this. I love seeing all of you in the chat, all the little nuggets here. So exciting. Thank you, Lisa. Awesome. Does anybody want to come on and share what they've texted so far? If people are reaching back out to you, maybe you decided to text 20 people instead of 10 because this is so fun. I'd love to hear from you all. We still have about 10 more minutes on the call. And you guys can continue with this exercise after we get off the call as well. I'd love to have you guys come back on the call for a minute and continue with the text splits. after we complete this call. I'd love to hear from a few of you who did this exercise. And I have one more quick exercise that I'd love to do with you all if we have time. Okay, well, I know most of you are probably still texting people, but if you have your notebook in front of you, I would like to see if you could write down a couple notes. We might be multitasking now, texting and writing notes. I don't know if we can do all that. How are y'all doing?
I just wanted to hop back on, and that was really fun. And that could, I can see how you can really get in a flow. I literally had to stop myself and put my phone away from me so that I would stop texting. But I can see how that is a really powerful tool to like literally get into action and get the ball moving and get the energy flowing. So thanks for sharing that. That was really fun.
Yay, thank you so much, Susan. And I love that like you couldn't even put your phone down. That's like, that means that you're enjoying it, because usually if we don't want to put our phone down, it's because we're enjoying it and we're having fun interacting with our friends and reaching out. So thank you so much for sharing that experience. It's really exciting. And yes, a really great way to get into action. And so part of why I want to do this right now on our mastermind is because here in Hawaii, it's still early in the day. And even if you're all the way on the East Coast, it's only like 2 o'clock, gonna be 3 o'clock. So you still have the whole rest of the afternoon left, even if you're in a later time zone. And you know, you've just created conversations with a bunch of people that now the rest of today, you know, because some of them may be at work, some of them maybe, you know, misplace their phone for an hour or two, who knows. And so when they see your message and they respond, now you've started a conversation, and that you never know where that conversation is going to lead. So, you know, anytime that you're feeling stuck, you don't really know what your next step is, I recommend just go to your phone book on your phone, and sometimes you might choose to start backwards, start from Z and go backwards through your phone. I do that sometimes, so I'm getting some of the end of the alphabet people too. But you know, just go through your phone and go to anybody that you haven't talked to in a few months and just send them a message, or anybody that you feel inspired to reach out to in that moment, you know, and just reach out to them and say hi and start that conversation. Has anybody else come back to the call that would like to share their experience? Awesome, Ray. I love it. So Ray is taking some massive action right now. She texted 10 people. She got a couple replies. One of them is somebody that is, you know, not feeling well right now. And so she actually has some ailments that she's dealing with. So that really opens up the door for Ray to now be able to share that with her friend that's sharing that she's having ailments. Yep, and she's been using these, you know, Ray's been using these products for a couple years, and that she's never felt better. So this is like one of the things that she's able to share with the people she's talking to, is like, this is what I've been doing for the past 2 years. I just left the unconvention. We had an amazing time. I'm feeling the best I've ever felt in my life. You know, she's having a birthday next month. And so, you know, these are all things when we can reach out to people, with no, you know, we all have an agenda, but it's not about that end result. It's about creating that relationship, that friendship, reaching out, and then all the 10 people are within the A's. I love it, Ray. See, so I didn't even make it out of the A's either. I only texted I think I texted 7 people. I don't even think I got to 10 because it was hard to text people and try to talk at the same time. But, you know, just this simple action of reaching out and saying hello to your friends is an easy way to just start a conversation. It's non-confrontational. You're not going to send them a Purium video and be like, look what I'm doing, or I'm doing a group cleanse, because then they're going to be like, oh my God, you know, just turning into a salesperson. So still stay true to your nature. Stay true to who you are, because that's what people are attracted to. They're attracted to you and who you are. So be congruent with that. And then as you share, you know, listen to what they have to say. Ask questions, listen, and then as that door opens up, you can share your own experience. Maybe as opposed to being like, oh, I'm doing Purium now and da-da-da, you could say, oh my gosh, I totally feel you in the situation that you're going through. Last year, I was feeling like crap, and I went through A, B, and C, and my dear friend shared this amazing superfood with me, and I did this 10-day cleanse, and let me tell you, when I was done with it, I felt like a new person, or whatever your story might be around it. But you know, you're really just creating an open door to have a conversation with somebody. You don't know where it's going to lead yet. So don't ever rule anybody out. Just text people, say hello, check in with them. I'd love to hear from more of you. If any of you want to hop on and share how this experience with doing a little text splits has gone for you this morning. I think we're just all having way too much fun with the text blitz. We don't even come back to the Zoom. Next time I'll have to do it the last 5 minutes of the Zoom. I'm really excited for everyone who's reaching out to people right now. There's a really great exercise. If you don't want to stop, don't stop by any means, because this is an exercise that will get you into action. And so we do have 5 days left this month. And so if you know what it's going to take to get to your goal, and you have your laser sharp focus, and you know exactly what it's going to take to get there, with that sheer will and determination, you will reach your goal if that's what it is that you're running towards. And if you have a really big goal, it definitely does take some team members to do it with you. So if you have brand new team members that you've enrolled and they haven't looked at any of our training tools yet, or they haven't been on a coaching training call with their upline yet, I highly suggest encouraging them to take those action steps to become a part of our community and to get the coaching that they need to really launch their business and get into action. And so this is an exercise that you can do with any of your team members as well. It's really a really fun thing that you can implement in your own community. If you have a local team forming and you have even 2 or 3 team members in your local area, and you get together maybe once a week, maybe more, and you just sit down and do your business together, it can really be encouraging to be like, hey, you know, we're going to meet at 9 o'clock at this cafe, or maybe in somebody's living room, and we're going to text blitz, you know, say we're going to text 20 people, and you know, and then as you're texting and you're bouncing off of each other, like so and so just reached back out and da da da. It's so exciting to hear from the other people on this call that are having positive experiences and that are texting people or getting amazing responses. So if anybody does want to pop on and share, you're welcome to, but I know we're really excited and texting everybody, so if you don't want to, that's fine too. I did have one other quick exercise that I'd love to do with you guys, if you guys would like to come back to the line. And we could just do this little exercise. We only have a few minutes left on the call, and then you guys can get right back to your text blitz and answering back to anybody that, you know, you've been texting in the last 20 minutes. But I think that was a really fun little activity, and hopefully it got you all into action. It got you some new people in your network notebook if it wasn't people that you were already kind of sharing with. So super excited for this opportunity for all of us. And if you guys have a notebook, I'm going to ask you to write down a couple questions, and I want you guys to reflect on this and share about it when you're ready. So I'm not going to ask you to share about it today on the call because we're at the end of the call, but I'm going to give you guys a little action step of something that you can do for yourself. And this is really going to help you in your business. And it's something that if you want to share on social media, you can share it in your own words as it pertains to you. So if anybody is able to text in the chat box, that might help those that are going to want to read it. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, why did you say yes to Purium? So that's the first question, and I will try to type it into the chat as well as I ask the questions. And so I want you to write these down for yourself. So as you come up with that answer, just write it down. These are things this is like a self-assessment. So why do you say yes to Purium? What inspired you? So what inspired you to make the decision? Awesome. Willow is amazing. So then how were you guided to enroll? So were you guided to enroll on your own? Did somebody walk you through the process? Did they place the order on their end with you on the phone? This is just your own self-assessment. So this is just for you, just to see how you were enrolled and how that experience felt to you. So this is kind of your own kind of self-assessment of how it felt to you when your enroller was sharing with you, what kind of made you say yes, what inspired you to make that decision. And then when did you get on your first Connect call? Did you get on a Connect call for products as a wellness consultation? Or maybe you got enrolled and then you may have gotten on a Connect call with your direct, maybe you just had a coaching call with your direct upline if it was Willow, because she's so awesome. Or maybe you got connected, like I even still do Connect calls with Willow or Skylar or Roxanne to help my business partners launch. So did you get a Connect call, kind of like a business launch call? So did you ever get on a business launch coaching call? Because if you haven't done that yet, I would love to encourage you to reach out to your upline and set up a coaching call with either your upline or your upline diamond or crown. And then that way you can duplicate that within your team as well. So we still want to make sure that everybody's getting coaching calls, that everybody feels fully supported in our business. So those were the questions. Why did you say yes to Purium? What inspired you to make the decision? How were you guided to enroll? When did you get onto a Connect call with your upline? And if you haven't yet, then let's schedule that. And did you do a business launch coaching call? So if you haven't done that yet, we'd love to, encourage you to do that. This is just really for your own self, but also for you to kind of know some mode of operation for when you're helping new brand partners get started as well. So, when you're enrolling them, how are you reaching out to them? How are you making them feel about their decision? What's maybe helping them to make that decision? Like what helped you make the decision? by self-assessing, then you can kind of, it will help you to be like, oh yeah, I remember I said yes because, you know, because what? Because you know why. That person either was, you know, super genuinely sharing with you from their heart. Maybe they shared a sample with you. Maybe they were, you know, kept reaching out and following up with you because they knew they had something that you needed. So these are all just things to kind of check in with yourself about how it felt when you are just first getting started, that excitement, you know, and just check. It's just kind of like a check-in, but also something that you can use as kind of like a bulletin point for when you're getting new people started. So my main point with this, though, was to get connect calls happening still, because if somebody is brand new in our business, we want to offer them coaching with their upline. So somebody that's just launching, we had a ton of people start with $99 launch packs and $199 launch packs this month. So we want to make sure that all of them are getting the same support and coaching. And I know that not everybody is able to make these mastermind calls. So it's really important that we help them plug in and find what is going to work for them. If they're able to attend 1 or 2 calls a week, what calls they can attend. It's really important that we have that conversation, as well as connect them with another layer of support with your upline, diamond or crown. So I'm really thankful for all of you guys coming on this call today. I'm really grateful I had the opportunity to share. And we are at the top of the hour. So if there's any last shares that you guys would like to share, I will be on a few more minutes. Otherwise, we'll call it a day and keep going with our text message blitz. Thank you, Ray. So keep those conversations going. Today is Wednesday, so today is Dinner with Dave. I'm not sure if it's on Zoom or call today. It seems like he's been doing it on Zoom recently, so check out for that text message. If you guys aren't getting our team text message, please text the words Agents of Change, all one word, to the number 41411. And that way you'll get the reminders for our morning masterminds as well as our afternoon company calls. So really excited for some action that we took this morning. We have 5 days to the end of the month. So check your back office, see what it takes to get to your goal. And if you need a coaching call, then reach up to your upline and let's set it up and help you reach your goals. Thank you all for coming on the Zoom today. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.